How can you avoid repeating the same mistakes as your parents? Today is day 4 of this week's lesson, in which we learn the value of what God did for us in terms of rest. Our key text for this week is in Genesis 2, verse 3, the New King James Version, and it reads, "Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." Genesis 2, verse 3, the New King James Version. The title of today's lesson is New Circumstances. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, a new generation with vague, if any, memories of being slaves in Egypt have grown up. Their life experiences has been very different from that of their parents. This new generation has seen the results of their parents' repeated lack of faith. And consequently, they suffered from their parents' failures. Along with their parents, they too had to wander in the wilderness as their parents' generation died off. However, despite observing their parents' failures, they have the privilege of having the sanctuary, the tabernacle of God, in the center of their camp, and they could see the cloud indicating God's presence hovering over the tabernacle. When it moved, they knew that it was time to pack up and follow. This cloud provided shade during the day, and it provided light and heat at night. It was a constant reminder of God's love and care for them. The activities in the sanctuary provided an object lesson that pointed to a coming Redeemer, Jesus Christ, the Anointed One. Along with the reminder of a coming Redeemer, we find in Exodus 16, 14 through 31, that this new generation, along with their parents, received a personalized reminder of the Sabbath rest. I'm reading it in Exodus 16, 14 through 31, the New King James Version, and it says, "And when the layer of dew lifted, there on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance as fine as frost on the ground. So when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, 'What is it?' For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, 'This is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need, 1 omer for each person according to the number of persons. Let every man take for those who are in his tent.' Then the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less. So when they measured it by the omers, he who gathered much had nothing left over, and he who gathered little had no like. Every man had gathered according to each one's need. And Moses said, 'Let no one leave any of it till morning.' Notwithstanding, they did not heed Moses, but some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was angry with them. So they gathered it every morning, every man according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted. And so it was. On the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one, And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Then he said to them, this is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is a Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake today, and boil what you will boil, and lay up for yourselves all that remains to be kept until morning. So they laid it up till morning, and as Moses commanded, and it did not stink, nor was there any worms in it. Then Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, the Sabbath, there will be none. Now it happened that some of the people went out on the seventh day to gather, but they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, how long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, he gives you on the sixth day bread for 2 days. Let every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. And the house of Israel called its name manna. And it was like white coriander seed. And the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. These verses offer a clear indication that the seventh day Sabbath predated the giving of the law at Sinai. What was God reminding the parents, and what was he teaching this new generation of descendants by providing this special food? The special food that God supplied was a daily reminder that the Creator sustains his creation. Even more, he demonstrated in a very tangible way that he was a supplier of their daily needs. Every day, they experienced a miracle. Their food appeared in the morning and disappeared with the rising of the hot sun. Anytime anyone tried to hoard for the next day, it would rot and stink. But every Friday, there was enough for a double portion. What happened with the leftovers collected on Friday? The leftovers were prepared on Friday, and they were to be eaten the seventh day, the Sabbath. On the Sabbath, the leftovers remained miraculously fresh. So Israel, in their new generation of children, now had the sanctuary service and all the laws and regulations recorded in Leviticus and Numbers. Although they had all these provisions, we see in Deuteronomy 5, 6 through 22, that the aged Moses summons everyone and repeats their history and revisits the law, the 10 Commandments. God wrote with his own finger and gave them a direct command to keep. I'm reading Deuteronomy 5, 6 through 22, and it says, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other God before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold you guiltless who takes his name in vain. Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, that your male servants and your female servants may rest as well as you. And remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God command you to keep the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, that your days may be long and that it may be well with you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witnesses against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and you shall not desire your neighbor's house, his field, his male servants, his female servants, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words the Lord spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, the cloud, and the thick darkness with a loud voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tables of stone and gave them to me. Consequently, this new generation finally was ready to enter the promised land. This new generation of Israel was about to undergo a change of leadership. And an age of Moses wanted to ensure that this generation would remember who they were and what their mission was. He did not want them repeating the mistakes of their parents. So he repeated God's law, the 10 commandments. He repeated them so that this generation, prepared and on the brink of conquering Canaan, would not forget God and not forget to rest. In our personal experiences, the second coming of Jesus is never more than a few months after we die. Hence, Jesus' return is always near, perhaps even nearer than we might think. Included in God's 10 commandments that he wrote with his own finger was the command to rest on the Sabbath. Although keeping the Sabbath does not save us, it does remind us not only of what God does for us, but what he has done for us in giving his son to save us. And it reminds us of what he will do for us when he returns. This concludes today's lesson on the rhythms of rest. If you would like a copy of the lesson, you can obtain it at ssnet.org. That's ssnet.org. Click on Adult SS and select Weekly Lesson. Stay tuned tomorrow as we learn of another reason to rest. My prayer for you is that you will have a blessed and wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.